Hey guys, Chad here from Take It or Leave It, here with another quick movie review for you for a little film called Elevator Game. Here's the synopsis. This film follows socially awkward teenager Ryan, who discovers that the night his sister disappeared, she had played the elevator game, a ritual conducted in an elevator in which players attempt to travel to another dimension using a set of rules that can be found online. Ignoring warnings, he resolves to follow and find her. Alright, so let's dive right on into this thing, starting with the pros. So the first thing that should be mentioned is that this film plays off of a real-life elevator game phenomenon in which a woman actually passed away in 2013. That being said, you may have followed this back when this was going on, so this meta aspect of the film may be cool for some of you if you were following this back in the day. I myself did not, so it didn't really have any effect on me personally and my viewing experience. But moving on from the neutral, let's get to the positives. Some of the humor actually landed and got a bit of a chuckle out of me, and there are a couple of creepy and visceral, graphic, violent sequences, one in a stairwell that particularly stands out. And I'm not a jump scare appreciator unless they're done well and with self-respect, and there are some legitimately solid jump scares in this, coupled with some pretty disturbing imagery. And there are two things worth touching on real quick, just so you know what I'm talking about later. There's someone called the Fifth Floor Woman. She's kind of the villain of the film, even though I argue maybe there are some other frickin' villains in this movie. We'll get to that later. And then there's the Red World, and that's the dimension that the synopsis was referring to. And I actually thought that the Red World was a really interesting idea. I wish they explored it more, but I definitely had some fun with it. And I actually thought this was a pretty good attempt to capture the life and struggles of professional YouTubers who choose to do YouTube instead of, say, going to college or some other alternative. And shit, I forgot to mention where you can find the damn movie in the first place. That's helpful, right? Okay, anyway, you can find this movie in 1994 on the Disney Channel on Halloween night. Wait a second, that's not right. That's not right. That's insane. And if it's not clear by now, yeah, we're on to the cons, all right? So,
Sorry guys, hate to put you through this. If you need to fucking take a dump or get a coffee, whatever, now might be a good time.
We're gonna be here for a bit, so, buckle up. You can actually find this film on AMC Plus and Shudder, but I'm not kidding, it really felt like a Halloween special in 1994 on the Disney Channel. Check that. There's actually some gore and some intense stuff in this, so maybe on the Disney Channel's version of Snick. And if you don't know what Snick is, then congratulations, enjoy your youth. And I think that came to mind because the film is just corny as all hell and not very scary at all. Sorry, I call it like I see it. And something that really irritated me was just, I think this movie should have been a found footage movie, or it should have just been a movie with no streaming and found footage stuff in it. One or the other, pick a lane. I say this in particular because a lot of the acting is just, it's rough, man, especially in the found footage and streaming scenes. Oh, it's atrocious. It's one thing to capture that zany and eccentric energy of YouTubers. Deadstream did this very, very well, by the way, but it's another to turn the host of the show into the frickin' Joker. It's just overly exaggerated to a fault, and I actually don't blame these actors entirely. I really don't think they were set up for success. And like I said earlier, the Red World is interesting, but the production value is so freaking low that I'm almost happy they didn't explore it more unless they allocated more of the budget to it. Because as it is, the Red World felt utterly empty. I mean, there's a cool graphic in the sky at one point, but otherwise it's just very clear that they walked out of their offices, got a permit, blocked off traffic, and then they just filmed this probably at night in front of their offices and then put some red lights and some red filters on it, and bada bing bada boom, you got the Red World. And very minor spoiler alert, I'm just speaking kind of generally, I'm not actually giving any details. The flashbacks of the Fifth Floor Woman's origin story, it just sucked a lot of the mystery and the dread out of the film. I'm guessing that it's in there to humanize the Fifth Floor Woman and to cause us to become empathetic toward her, but they don't do anything outside of the flashback to seal the deal. And remember when I said that the Fifth Floor Woman might not be the only villain in this movie? Yeah, that's a me thing, okay? That's my interpretation, because these characters are some of the most selfish characters I've ever seen in a movie, at least in recent memory. They are completely unlikable, and I wasn't rooting for any of them, except for maybe Ryan. He was actually okay, but everybody else, nah, screw them, take them out. I'm rooting for the Fifth Floor Woman all the way. They're the true villains. villains in this movie. Yeah, strap in for this one. No joke, the characters are such petulant children that they can't even work with their producer to help them save their own channel. Like, why not? Why not? It's your channel. You didn't go to college and there aren't any other YouTube opportunities available to you, so why wouldn't you focus on your own channel that you got a lucky break on in the first place and try and help your producer help you? Like, are you guys sadists? Do you enjoy this? Is this some kind of kink thing? Seriously, I don't understand it, and I refuse to believe that this generation is actually this selfish. Like, across the board and to this extreme. In fact, it feels as if this film was made by Gen Xers with Gen Z children, and this is their perception of Gen Zs. Particularly the perspective that Gen Zs are selfish and self-centered, unrealistic, and lazy. And shocker, I'm correct. Both the writer and the director are Gen Xers, and while their input from their perspective I'm sure contributed to some of the character development and some of the comedy that worked, the reality for me was that the majority of these elements were insanely over the top and did not work, and I think they could have benefited from getting a younger Gen Z's input for the script, in order to act as a counterbalance to the hyperbolic and extreme perspectives of the filmmakers. And speaking of the humor that does not land in this movie, holy shit, thank God I did not see this in theaters, because the onslaught of comedy that crashes and burns is staggering, and I'm not sure I could have stayed the whole movie out of fear of overdosing on secondhand embarrassment. Like, it's overwhelmingly cringe when there's a pause after a funny is made, and I'm just sitting there thinking, ah shit, you're not waiting on me to laugh, are you guys? Oh, don't hold your breath. Come on, let's go. Can we keep going, please? Chop chop. And there's a weird paradoxical dynamic in this movie where the film ends up going farther than I would have expected it to, and then after it does that, it ends up coming up short at the same time. This happens a couple of times, but you know, the origin story for the fifth floor woman is a great example. I'm surprised that they put that in the first place, but then when they did, I expected them to do something with it, and then they just don't. They just kind of drop it and that's it. And it's like, well, what was the point of that? Why did we go through that? Why didn't you guys make that just to not do anything with it? That budget that made that flashback could have gone to enhancing the Red World. I don't know what to make of it. It was kind of bizarre to watch this happen a couple times. And at a certain point in the third act, it just feels like the writers are taking the story and the rules of the game and they're just making it up as they go along. Same goes for the characters. They just start making dumb decisions that are just out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay, so you need that character to go there such that the story can continue. There's no good reason for it, but like, that's where they need to go. So insert nonsense decision by stupid character so that they get there. Awesome. I'm glad I'm here. And lastly, the very end is pretty jarring, but wait, it's not really the end. It's not. They don't forget to set up for a potential sequel. I'm good. Thank you, though. So I think it's pretty clear by now, right? Like, I'm not a big fan of this movie, but I will say these filmmakers did make a pretty cool movie called Glorious. It's a horror film. It's got a very H.P. Lovecraft feel to it, and J.K. Simmons actually voices a character in this film, and he's fantastic. I actually had a lot of fun with this movie. I think it's bonkers and out there and pretty damn good, and regardless of what I think about Elevator Game, Glorious is definitely worth checking out. But as for Elevator Game, this film definitely has elements of Talk to Me, Insidious, Devil, We're All Going to the World's Fair, The Ring, and Deadstream. And with all that being said, I'm gonna give Elevator Game a 3.5 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts, take it or leave it. What do you guys think? Have you heard of this film? Have you seen it yet? Do you think I'm spot on, or do you think I'm nuts and that it's a great movie? Let me know down in the comments section. Let's talk about it. And as usual, guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, I'm Chad from Take It or Leave It, and I'll check you later.
Check you later, check you later. Hey man, get off my case. Oh man, chicks don't want to hear that shit.